Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel Unyistitches. In today's tutorial, we want to learn how to cut and sew this stylish gown that you see on the screen. So if this is something you are interested on, keep on watching the video. So I'm going to draft the down part of the gown first, which is the skirt part, before drafting the upper bodice. So the measurement you need is your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your waist knee, and the full length of the gown. So for you to get the length of the skirt part, you have to minus the upper bodice from the full length. Whatever measurement you have will be what you're using for your skirt part. For example, the full length of the gown that I'm going to draft is 57 inches. So the upper bodice, the half length is 17 inches for this particular client. So what I will do will be for me to minus my 17 inches from the 57 inches, and I'll be left with 40 inches. So my skirt part will be 40 inches and the upper bodice will be 17 inches. So this is my pattern paper that I'm using for this pattern drafting for the skirt part. As you can see, this is on fold. I have to tape it down so that it will not move while drafting. So then my paper is on fold. And this is my center front and this is my side front. So already I've marked all my vertical measurements. This is my starting point, which will serve as my waistline. This is my hip line. That is from the waist to the hip point. And this is my waist knee line. That is from the waist to the waist knee. Or you can measure from the waist to your true knee. Then you minus 3 to 4 inches from it. That will give you your waist knee. And this is from waist to the full length. So the next thing I will do now will be for me to go ahead and input all my horizontal measurements. So the first thing will be for me to impute my waist measurement divided by 4. Can you see? Plus my 1 inch dart. I'm going to make use of 1 inch dart. So the hip, I will also divide the hip measurement by 4. Then the same hip measurement, I'm going to mark it on the waist knee line and the full length line. So I'll go ahead and connect all my points. The next one will be for me to impute my dart. For me to impute my dart, I'm going to divide my bust span by 2. So the one I'm working with is 8 inches. So I'm going to mark it here. That is 8 divided by 2. Some people call it nipple to nipple measurement. You divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. Remember, we added 1 inch here for our dart. So I'm going to mark 0.5 on each side of this line. My dart length will be 5 inches for the front. So I'm going to connect to my dart leg. I have a detailed video on how to draft your basics pattern set. That's your basic bodice, your skirt, and your basic sleeve. If you haven't watched the video, search on this channel, you will see a detailed video on how to draft your basic bodice, your basic skirt, your basic pants, and also your basic sleeve. Okay? So now that this is done, I will now go ahead and tighten my down part of the skirt. So to do that, you need to determine how tight you want the skirt to be. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to use 1.5 inches to tighten the down part of the skirt. So I will do that by coming to my waist knee line. I will minus 1.5 inches. I'll minus them on the full length line. Then I'm going to connect the line. Can you see? Then I'm going to connect from here to my hip line. So now the basic skirt is ready. So what you can do can be for you to go ahead and add your folding allowance for the down part and your sewing allowance. But I'm going to add mine during cutting, when I'm cutting the fabric. So here I'm going to add my joining allowance to the upper bodice. I want to make use of 0.5 inches. Believe you can see. Go ahead now and cut out my pattern. For us to draft this bustier, this is my basic bodice pattern. I have started it, though I have not completed it. So I will take you along on how I drafted this, and then we will complete the pattern. This is my front pattern, and this paper is on 4. Can you see? My paper is on 4. I have to tape it down so that it doesn't move. So this is my shoulder line, which is the starting point. I'll call it is L. This one is my chest line. This is my bust line, my under bust line, and then my half length, or you can call it the waist line. And on these starting points, what I did was for me to mark my shoulder measurement. So the shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches. When I divide that by 2, I'll have 8 inches. So I mark my 8 inches. Then I slope the shoulder by 1.5 inches. Then the next thing was for me to mark my neck measurement. So I make use of 3.5 inches by 3 inches. The neck line, the neck depth and the neck width all depends on your preference. But the standard is 3 by 3. It all depends on the person you are sewing the clothes for. So after marking my neck, the next thing was for me to draw my armhole curve. So I mark from here to here, I mark 3 inches, coming towards my center front by ½ inch. And then on my chest line, I mark my bust measurement divided by 4. Then I connect my armhole curve. The next thing I will do now will be for me to impute my darts. So I will come to my bust line. I'm going to mark half of my bust span, which is 4. That is bust span measurement divided by 2. Mark my 4 inches there. I'll mark it on my under bust and my waistline as well. I'll connect to have a straight line. So for my dart, I'm going to make use of 2.5 inches dart. That is to say, I'm going to have 1 inch towards my center front and 1.5 towards my side front. So first of all, come to my under bust. I'll mark my 1 inch this way, and I'll mark them on my waist line. I'll connect the line. Then coming to my side front, I will mark my 1.5. Mark them here. Can you see? Then I'll go ahead and connect my curve this way. Can you see? The next thing I will do will be for me to come here to my shoulder line. I will mark half of the shoulder line. Can you see? I will connect it straight to my bust point. Can you see? So after connecting this, the next thing I will do will be for me to impute my upper bust tightening. So I want to make use of 1.5 inches to tighten the upper bust. Before doing that, I'm going to create my neckline first. So for me to create my neckline, I'm going to determine how deep I want the neckline to be. I want it to be 6.5 inches below my shoulder. Can you see? So after marking that, I'll go ahead and tighten the upper bust. I said it earlier, I'm using 1 inch to tighten the upper bust. So I will mark my 1 inch. That is ½ inch on both sides of this line. Then I will connect it here. Can you see? This takes care of the upper bust tightening. So after this, the next thing will be for us to replace this 1 inch here. So I'm going to extend this line. So I'll go ahead and replace this 1 inch here. So after that, the next one will be for me to mark my waist measurement divide by 4 plus this that. So the waist measurement divide by 4 plus my that. This that, remember, is 2.5. I have 2.5 here, so this is the 2.5. I'll go ahead and connect the line. Can you see? So now I'll go on to mark my bust dart. My bust dart, I want to make use of 1.5 inches. That is the difference between my back waistline and my front waistline. So go ahead and connect it here. So the next thing now will be for me to hold my dart the way you see me doing. So then I will draw my neckline. You can see it's a princess neckline. The neckline depends on how deep you want it to be. Then if you can see what I'm doing. Can you see? So I will go ahead now and cut the pattern. So this is our bustier with yoke. This is the yoke, and this is my bustier. So when you are cutting on your fabric, make sure you add your joining allowance to the skate pad for the 3 pieces, and then you add 0.5 inch for this one. Add same on this other side, the same on this, and then add 0.5 on this other side as well. That will be for your joining. Okay, and for the sleeve, you can see it has a long sleeve and also this Ankara design sleeve. So for the sleeve, I have a detailed video on how to draft your basic sleeve. So you use that video to draft the lace, that is the long sleeve. I'm going to show you how to go about with that of the Ankara. So let's go ahead with the sleeve. So for example, what you will do, the first thing will be for you to measure from here. That is where the angle you will join your Ankara to the lace. You measure it to your armhole line. Can you see? That is 2 inches. I'm going to come here and mark from this my folding point. I'm going to mark my 2 inches. This is just my starting point. So I'll mark my 2 inches. Can you see? The next thing is for you to measure around the arm of the person you are sewing it for, so that the sleeve will not be tight. So for example, let's say it's 12. It's not tight, so I'll make it like 14. Can you see? I'm going to draw. I'll mark 2 inches here as well. Can you see? So go ahead and cut it out. So when you get this, make sure that you interface it so that it will have stability. Can you see? When you attach it, this is how it will look like. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, share our videos so that others will learn. I'll see you on next tutorial. Bye bye.